Staying on the topic of arm-twisting diplomacy, let's turn our attention to Brussels. Foreign ministers of NATO countries were there this week. They held a two-day summit in Brussels. The Israel-Hamas war was on the agenda, of course. But when it comes to NATO, the big problem is still Russia. Russia's war on Ukraine has been a boon for NATO. It made the group relevant again. And the war has even helped NATO expand. We saw Finland join NATO earlier this year. It was after a few months of anxious waiting. Finland had applied last year with its neighbour Sweden, but both memberships were held up by one NATO member, Turkiye. Finland eventually found a way through, but Sweden is still stuck without NATO membership. They've been negotiating with Turkey for months, and now Stockholm believes it's weeks away from NATO membership.
So we look forward to see the ratification finalized. Yesterday, I had a bilateral with my colleague, the Foreign Minister of Turkiye, Hakan Fidan, where he told me that he expected the ratification to take place within weeks. And of course, we don't take anything for granted from the side of Sweden, but we look forward to this being completed.
For any nation to join NATO, all existing members must approve. Sweden still needs a go-ahead from two nations, Turkey and Hungary. Hungary is not considered much of a challenge. It has said it won't be the last nation to give the green light. So the challenge for Sweden is convincing Turkey. All other NATO members have been urging Turkey to let Sweden in. Even during this week's meeting, Turkey was being courted.
We have questions here at NATO as we track toward the summit next year, the 75th anniversary, including Sweden's accession. We have the ongoing Russian aggression against Ukraine, among many other issues. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to share perspectives on all of these issues. Grateful for the collaboration that we have with Turkiye, a critical, very valued NATO ally. So, Hakan, good to see you today. Thank you.
Ankara has been milking the situation for months. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been holding Sweden's membership hostage. Why would he do that? For a ransom, of course. Not in cash, but in kind. Erdogan has milked the Sweden issue to get concessions from other NATO members, and he's made off with quite the haul over the past few months. Let's take a look at what Ankara has gained. First is the crushing of dissent. That was Turkey's initial issue. That's why it's objected to both Sweden and Finland. They had Turkish dissidents. Now Turkey called them terrorists. We're talking about Kurdish separatists, members of the Kurdistan Workers' Party. Turkey calls this group a terror outfit. Sweden and Finland did not agree. They were harboring these Kurdish separatists. But the NATO bid changed all of that. Both Nordic nations have cracked down on the Kurds, also on other groups that Turkey deems undesirable. All their free speech rhetoric has crumbled under Turkey's strong arm tactics. That's one victory for Ankara. An arguably bigger victory was weapons procurement. Sweden and Finland had weapon embargoes against Turkey. Exports to them were banned. Exports to Ankara were banned. And that has changed in recent months. Nordic weapons and components are now being sold to Turkey. And that's not all. There were other embargoes, like Canada. It was not selling drone parts. The Netherlands had some restrictions. They've all been scrapped. They will all sell weapons to Turkey now. The Americans are giving them F-16 fighter jets. The order was placed in 2021. Turkey had placed an order more than 2 years back, a deal worth about $20 billion, but the US Congress had stalled it over Erdogan's human rights record. Suddenly, all those concerns have disappeared. The White House promised the jets, and Erdogan gave the green light to Sweden. He forwarded Sweden's bid to the Turkish parliament. Classic quid pro quo. When the Turkish parliament clears it, they'll probably get a delivery date for the F-16s. And these are all the gains that Turkey has made by delaying Sweden's NATO membership. It's quite the diplomatic heist. And it goes on to show the extent to which NATO members will cave on their principles just to get another friend at the table.